abuniwe tume. Lazima abuniwe tume. Oh. Sheria. Mwananchi, tabia zako ziko chini, unapenda kulipa hongo na kutumia njia za uongo, una mipango na hata watoto wa kando, haujui hata majina yao. Kura yako uliuza maini figo, ukakulia hadi dini, kisha wasema tukuthamini, na wewe hapo hauaminiki, na wewe hapo haupangiki.
Wapi kidero when you need to slap somebody? Complain ufisadi kwani ulidhani t-shirt 50 bob leso siku ya campaign ilikuwa free? Ni 5 year loan investment utalipa kingi ya parliament. We are one, amani we are one. Na utumishi kwa wote, utu missing CCTV we were watching. Racial insecurity na job opportunity ni kama mti ya kibiriti. Side moja heavy, usiniambie Kenya kuna umaskini, kwani hizi fat fingers zinaibia nane? Maskando inatuleta wa survival. Media define leadership, na sura ukiaka front page na improve readership. Ambia wase wa Twitter wa hashtag hii ama hash reality doesn't make a good TT. Commission of inquiry wanakula commission bila kutupa ukweli, ni kubaya. Baka kukiwa kuzuri unashindwa nini mbaya. Machozi ya perpetrator ineza dilute damu ya victim ilimwagika. After all is said and done, all will be said, nothing will be done. You're not my tribe, but you're my blood type. Like it doesn't have to take tragedy to know that.
Sheria.
Well. Good evening and welcome to Sheria Day right here on Pawa Radio with me, WaNjeri. Tuko kwenye studio and you know what? I'm curious to know how you're doing. How are you doing? How was your day? How was your start to this beautiful and wonderful week? Did you meet your goals? Did you do what you wanted to do? Are you still in the office? Are you in the market at home? Are you in your car? Wherever you are, karibu sana. This is Sheria Dive, where we talk everything legal. And of course, today, you know, sometimes it's, we want to ask sometimes, what's happening to Kenya? What's happening in this country? Now, last week on Monday, Flozy said I was very angry in studio. So today, I'm going to try and contain myself, okay? As we discuss a very, very serious issue that has just happened today. Now, unless you are not living in this country, you must have had the news today that Justice Lawrence Mugambi, who last week found the Acting Inspector General of Police, Gilbert Masengeli, guilty of contempt of court after Masengeli defied 7 court orders. And then he proceeded to sentence him to 6 months in prison. This morning, we learned that the police have withdrawn the security of the judge. So the police officer who is the judge's bodyguard has been withdrawn and has been disarmed. This is alarming news, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. What has been the reaction? And perhaps for all of us, what is happening to the country? Maybe someone can answer that question for me. I'll be very happy to get a response. What's actually happening to this country called Kenya? Well, welcome to the show. Of course, as always, we'd like to hear from you. We'd like to know what you think about what's going on and what we're dealing with. Why don't you head over to our YouTube live chat, and you can as well just give us your comment there in that comment section. And on the other side as well, you can reach out to us on the socials at Power Radio. You can reach out to us at Power Radio, at James K. WaNjeri on the socials, and I'm going to be responding to those. But karibu sana, let's get some music as we kick off this show. Remember, we only have 1 hour, so we're going to make it short and sweet. Let's go.
Power Radio. Tune in and power up.
My angel in disguise, sent from heaven just to give my broken heart another chance. When ni malaika wangu, every single time you are away, my heart forgets just how to be. And maybe I should let you know, even if the earth should fly away, I'd find a way to you. Maybe I should let you know, every single night I ask the Lord to keep you safe. For me, the moonlight in the dark, shining brighter than the brightest star will ever see. Malaika nakupenda, na kila saa you're far away, my heart forgets just how to be. And maybe I should let you know, that even if the earth should fly away, I'd find a way. And maybe I should let you know, yeah. Every single night I ask the Lord to keep you safe for me. Maybe I should let you know, that even if the earth should fly away, I'll find a way to you.
I've been faded, I've been naked, in different places, many faces, X-rated, yeah. I've been patient, I've been waiting. No other one that's come around can do the things you do. Who keep come around, we smoke a lot, Canadian pot, G's and bomb. Catch a wine, dance along, bounce along, baby, bounce along. Wine and dine, made your mind, it's a clear sign that no other one that's come around can do the things you do. Nobody else can match my energy. Cheesy come my yeah. Cheesy come my yeah. We up all night and still we try to be busy on the AM. Cheesy come my yeah. Cheesy come my yeah. Oh yeah. Cheesy come my
I've been faded, serenaded, celebrated. Ooh, very patient. See, I'm not so complicated. Ooh, come on my mind. Your toes are juicy, align. Oh, you got bigger sign. Kisha underline. Only free because you let me be. That's the love I want for me. Long time was so dabaridi. Can't deny the chemistry. Ukakwama on my mind. Tuka alive. Tuka bigger sign.
Nobody else can match my energy. Cheesy come my yeah. Cheesy come my we up all night and still we tryna be busy on the AM. Cheesy come my yeah. Cheesy come my oh yeah. Cheesy come my
Wonderful, beautiful song right there. Cheesy. Kama yeye ama ni kama wewe. Ninyi wote ni machizi. That's what matters. Fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to talk to us about the independence of the judiciary. And unfortunately, every time we want to have such conversations, it's usually because someone somewhere has done something they should not have done. But let's lay the groundwork. Article 160 of the Constitution of Kenya says that the judiciary is only subject to the Constitution and the law and shall not be subject to the control or direction of any person or authority. That is judicial independence. That someone, if they're acting as a judicial officer, they are only subject to the Constitution and to the laws of the Republic of Kenya and to the law, all right? They shall not be subject to the control or direction of any person or authority. And of course, you can understand why. I mean, if, for instance, a judge can be threatened, or a judge can be easily swayed, or if a judge can make a decision on based on reasons that have nothing to do with the law, then what is the point of going before that judge, right? So for judicial independence as envisaged in our Constitution is that a judicial officer, as they execute their duties, as they do their work, they are not subject to the control or direction of any person or authority. Even the Chief Justice herself cannot direct a judicial officer on how to do their job or how to make a decision or how to rule. Because ideally, cases should be determined on their merits. Kila mtu anakuja na kesi yake, zinaekwa hapo chini, and the judge or the magistrate listens or the judicial officer listens, then they make a decision by taking those facts, taking the law, and determining who is on the right here. Now, Under Article 164, part of the way that judges and judicial officers, okay, are protected is, for instance, it says the remuneration and benefits payable, okay? So this is the salaries and any other employment benefits that are payable to or in respect of a judge shall not be varied to the disadvantage of that judge, and the retirement benefits of a retired judge shall not be varied to the disadvantage of the retired judge during the lifetime of that retired judge, okay? Also, at Article 165, a member of the judiciary is not liable in an action or suit in respect of anything done or omitted to be done in good faith in the lawful performance of a judicial function. Now, it was on this show a few weeks ago where I told you that when we were looking at how Kenya's constitution had been amended from time to time, one of the things that happened is that the government then decided these judges, we need to deal with them. So how do we deal with them? The security of tenure was removed. And security of tenure simply is the fact that you enjoy the security of your job. And you can only be removed from that job for misconduct, which means reasons have to be brought for your misconduct and it's proven, and that happens. But in the old constitution of Kenya, the president would actually appoint judges. And so the question often came, how are we sure that these judges are actually independent as they execute their duties? You will remember that it was during Moi's time, as he is appointing his judges and his magistrates, it was during that time that we had detentions without trial. Those are the days where people would be taken to court at midnight and sentenced. You know, the judiciary was completely in bed with the government. So one of the things Kenyans wanted when it came to 2010 moving forward was we want to have judges who are not controlled by the executive. We want to have judges who are not controlled by money. We also want judges who cannot be threatened, right? Because once a judge is threatened, they'll make a decision out of their own self-interest and to protect themselves. Now, something interesting, and I don't even think interesting is a proper word, but something shocking happened on the 13th of June. On the 13th of June, Honorable Monica Kivuti, all right, who was a magistrate, she was a principal magistrate who was serving at Makadara Law Courts. On the 13th of June, Honorable Monica Kivuti was handling a matter, and in that matter, an accused person had been arrested on 19th September 2022, and the offense was that she had obtained 2.9 million shillings by false pretense. Okay, this is against Section 313 of the Penal Code. Now, that accused person was released on a police cash bail, and she was required to attend court on 24th October 2022 to plead to the charge. And to plead is to come and say, you know, are you guilty or not? Now, on 24th October 2022, she failed to attend court. A warrant of arrest was issued against her, and the police cash bail that she had brought was forfeited to the state, okay? The matter was then fixed for mention on the 23rd day of November 2022, when the accused yet again failed to attend court. Now, the next year, on 5th January 2023, the accused person appeared before court and pleaded not guilty. She was then released on bond. Now, court records indicate that this accused person failed to attend court on 7 different occasions, beginning with 23rd November 2022 all the way to 30th of May 2024. On 7th of May 2024, a warrant of arrest was issued, and the cash bill that she had deposited was forfeited again. Now, on all these dates, from 23rd November 2022 to 30th May 2024, on all those 7 dates between that period, the complainant who had brought the case to the police and reported this person was present, and the complainant raised concerns about the failure of the accused person to attend court. On 30th May 2024, this year, the accused person's lawyer presented medical documents to explain the accused person's continued absence. Now, the prosecutor and also the victim's lawyer questioned the medical documents. The court then ordered the investigating officer to verify whether the medical documents were authentic. On 13 June 2024, the accused person came to court. The prosecution presented the report from the investigating officer, which indicated that the information presented to the court with regards to the accused person's ailment or sickness was not truthful. On that basis, the prosecution then argued that the accused person was a flight risk and applied for her to be remanded in custody. The accused person's lawyer apologized to the court for the misinformation, and he stated that he only gave information that had been given to her, because it was a lady advocate. So she was only giving information that she had received from the accused person and her husband. The lawyer, of course, requested for leniency and applied that the bond terms be reinstated on humanitarian grounds. Now, Honorable Monica Kivuti, faced with this, first began by noting that the accused person had absconded court on several occasions on account of admission in hospital. The magistrate expressed concerns that the accused person had not produced any evidence to show that she had been admitted on the dates that she was required to attend court. She also observed that the accused person was being dishonest to the court together with her advocate. The magistrate then went to note that the complainant had attended court on numerous occasions and had expressed frustrations that the accused person had assured him that she would attend court, but she failed to do so. So the magistrate observed that the hearing of the case was being delayed due to the accused person's failure to attend court. Now, it's important to note that at this point, there were no medical documents to prove that the accused person was indeed sick. But the magistrate, out of an abundance of caution, then makes the following orders. She says, number one, let a pre-bail report be filed in court within 14 days. In the meantime, the accused will be remanded at the Langata Women's Prison. The officer in charge of Langata Women's Prison would avail an ambulance to escort her to hospital for treatment. And then the matter would be set for mention on 27th June 2024, which was 14 days later. And the hearing would be on 6th August 2024. As soon as those words left her mouth, gunshots were heard in court. And in that confusion, the police who were present also opened fire. In the end, it turned out that the husband of the accused person, the husband of the lady who had been accused of stealing just about 3 million shillings, her husband was actually a police officer. He had accompanied her to court on that day. So as soon as he heard that the magistrate had said his wife was going to Langata Women's Prison and that a pre-bail report will be prepared before the magistrate could make a decision on whether she deserved bail or not, he proceeded to shoot the magistrate. This guy wasn't just a police officer, he was a senior police officer. And information at that time was that he was an OCS. He shot the police officer. He shot the magistrate, Honorable Monica Kivuti. He shot another court administrator who was there. And in return, he was shot by the police who were at the courts on that day. Today, Monica Kivuti is dead. And we buried Honorable Monica Kivuti. It is unheard of in Kenya that a judge or a judicial officer or even a magistrate has been shot while carrying out their duties. However, in this case, it actually did happen. That case is setting a stage for us because the police officer, he knew how the justice system works. He had been through it enough times. But he decided at that point to take the law into his hands and to be the law. And his actions actually ended up in the death of Honorable Monica Kivuti, who still had a whole career ahead of her. She had a family. She had a child. So there's a child who was left motherless. There's a husband who was left a widower because of the actions of this gentleman. And for his wife, she also became a widow because of his actions. And perhaps at that time we would have said, maybe he was just emotional. But the reality is, ladies and gentlemen, as you listen to this, he was a police officer. He had a gun issued by the government. He used that gun to kill another government officer because he thought he was above the law. He thought his wife can come to court and fail to come to court, and she doesn't need to say anything to anyone. His wife was above being taken to Lang'ata Women's Prison. Now, whether she was sick or not, they could easily have filed an application to set aside those orders of the court. She actually had an advocate in court, right? But the police officer took the law into his hands and made that decision. Honorable Monica Kivuti is dead today. May her soul rest in peace. At about the same period, 60 young Kenyans who went to protest against the finance bill and who went to protest against the government were shot and killed by the police. Now, it's easy for us to look at this as two isolated incidents. But the reality is that in both, we have people who are recklessly using their firearms. In the case of the protests, the court issued an order indicating that the police were not to use live bullets. Earlier this year, the High Court said the police should only use live bullets when their lives are in danger or when they are protecting someone else's life. You cannot use a live bullet to kill someone because you're protecting property. That did not stop them. It began with Rex Kanyeki Masai, and by the time it was all over, 60 young Kenyans were dead. Shot by the police, hit by the police, victims of police brutality. Now, how does this all tie in to Gilbert Masengeli? I'll tell you after this music break.
From sunrise to sunset, all day and night. Power Radio.
Road trips and young romances, breakups and second chances. Our rhythm steers through all these years. If love is a drum, you are my drummer. I'll dance to your beat only forever. If love is a drum, you are my drummer. I'll dance to your beat. My Isukuti love. Is it good for me? Is it good for me? My Isukuti love. Is it good for me? Is it good for me? Ringing the one ding ding and the boom boom boom. Adding my nyatiti, then it's me and you. My Isukuti love. Is it good for me? Is it good for me? Is it good? Heartbeats and stolen glances, oceans and wedding marches. Our music plays through all these days. If love is a drum, you are my drummer. I'll dance to your beat only forever. If love is a drum, you are my drummer. I'll dance to your beat. My Isukuti love. Is it good for me? Is it good for me? My Isukuti love. Is it good for me? Is
Is it good for me? I say Mayonde needs to actually release more music, you know? Mayonde, if you're hearing this out there, if you know Mayonde, just tell her we want more music. Fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, talking about the independence of the judiciary and just trying to understand the actions of the police today in context. Now, this is a statement of the Judicial Service Commission, and the Judicial Service Commission is an independent constitutional commission whose responsibility is, for instance, to hire judges, all right, set the terms of remuneration. So the Judicial Service Commission is essentially the body that deals mostly with the administrative side of justice in the judiciary, and they also discipline judges. Now, they have issued a statement today, and if you're just joining the show, you must have heard the news that Justice Lawrence Mugambi had his security withdrawn. Remember, security in Kenya is only provided, armed security in Kenya is only provided by the police, all right? No one else but the police is allowed to hold a firearm unless you're a private citizen and you get a license for that. So this means that every judge, due to the nature of their work, they are assigned a police officer, you know, to keep them guard. Because funny things have happened in court, and we've just talked about Honorable Kivuti's murder in court, you know. So his security has been withdrawn. This might seem like a small issue, maybe, that we are blowing out of proportion, but as I always say, everything must be looked at within its own unique context. Now, for the past few weeks, I have been on this show and have told us about the case of one Bob Njagi. Bob Njagi is a human rights activist and an advocate of the High Court of Kenya. He resides in Kitengela. Bob Njagi, on the 19th of August, was abducted by suspected police officers together with brothers Jamil and Asley Longton. After that happened, the families went to court and made an application, which you call an application for habeas corpus. And habeas corpus basically is a statement or a phrase that means produce the body. And the purpose of a habeas corpus application is to have someone who has been held by the state produced, okay? So if the state has taken your relative, has taken your friend, has taken someone from the community, then you have the power to go to court and petition and say, let this person actually be produced. So that application was made. Now, Honorable Mr. Justice Lawrence Mugambi is a judge of the High Court, and he presided over that case, which is the case of the Law Society of Kenya and 3 others, versus the Inspector General of Police and 4 others. This is petition number A436 of 2024. Now, as I've said, this case was filed in court with the assistance of the Law Society of Kenya, following allegations that Bob Misheni Njagi, Jamil Longton, and Salam Longton had been abducted on the 19th of August 2024. Now, Honorable Justice Mugambi, while presiding over the case, issued a habeas corpus order, and that order directed the immediate and unconditional release of the 3 individuals. To date, and today, the date today is the 13th. All right? To date, they have not been released. So today is the 16th. They have not been released by the police. So it means since 19th of August to the 16th of September, those gentlemen are still missing. Their families don't know where they are. The police who took them are not saying where they are. But the court has already said, produce those 3 gentlemen. Now, following this, the court then summoned the acting Inspector General of Police to explain the failure of the police to comply with the habeas corpus order. Because remember, the Inspector General of Police was the first respondent in that matter. An extension was given to accommodate his availability in court, yet he still continued to ignore the summons. He was told, come to court and explain. He refused. His continued defiance then ended up in contempt of court proceedings. He had ignored 7 court orders. Now, in those contempt of court proceedings, the acting inspector general was subsequently found in contempt and was sentenced on 13th of September, which was last week, on Thursday. Last week on Friday. He was found guilty of being in contempt of court and he was sentenced to 6 months in prison. As we speak, this man is not in prison. He's still gallivanting all over the country. Now, today, the security detail assigned to Honorable Justice Mugambi were disarmed and then withdrawn. And the JSC says that this deliberate and punitive measure represents a direct assault on judicial independence, an affront to the rule of law, and a violation of the principles enshrined in our Constitution. Indeed, Article 160 of the Constitution unequivocally protects judicial independence. The judiciary is only subject to the Constitution and to the law, and is not subject to the control or direction of any person or authority. Additionally, any benefits or conditions of service related to a judge's position, including their security, must not be varied to their disadvantage. That is actually in the Constitution of Kenya. Particularly as a form of retaliation for the lawful execution of their judicial duties. Security for judges is an accrued benefit that cannot be withdrawn whimsically. Now, the JSC says that the act of withdrawing the security of a sitting judge following a judicial decision that displeased certain authorities is deeply concerning. It sends a chilling message to the judiciary and the public at large that those entrusted with upholding justice and safeguarding our rights can be intimidated, bullied, or retaliated against for their rulings. Such actions erode public trust in the independence of the courts, undermine the very foundation of our constitutional democracy, and they pose a risk to disregard of our institutions and descent into lawlessness. If you are dissatisfied with the judicial decision, the appropriate recourse is to appeal to a higher court. In this case of Masengeli, an appeal has been filed and is yet to be heard and determined. But retaliatory measures against a judge or a judicial officer have no place in a democratic society like Kenya. And perhaps what we need to ask is, how important is judicial independence really? You see, judicial independence is not a privilege for judges, and the JSC gets this correct. It is a cornerstone of justice for all citizens. Judges must be free to make decisions based solely on the law without fear of retribution or interference. Any attempt to encroach on that judicial independence then puts our society at risk. And what happens next is that we descend into lawlessness, with the idea being that might supersedes right. So if you're powerful, you can have your way. If you're weak, pole kwako. This is worrying. And I've given this context for us to understand that the National Police Service of Kenya is established under the Constitution. And the idea is that they are there to serve Kenyans, not to serve the powerful, not to serve the president. They're there to serve each and every Kenyan. These actions, and they are not in isolation. We have many cases in court. Willie Kimani was an advocate of the court who took up a matter against a police officer. And this police officer had been had a case against a taxi driver. All right? Willie Kimani took up that case because this gentleman was being harassed by the police. One day while leaving court, Willie Kimani, his client, and another taxi driver were accosted by the police. They were taken away. They were killed. Their bodies were put in sacks and thrown into the river. Then those bodies were discovered. These are police actions. We have rogue elements within the police service of Kenya. And now with this acting Inspector General of Police, they are being encouraged. And such rogue behavior is actually being promoted. And that is something that should worry each and every one of us, because it appears in this country the police do not have consequences for their actions. You and I cannot do some of the things they are doing. You know, when we had the finance bill protests, I happened to be one of the lawyers who was representing some of those who had been arrested, some of the peaceful protesters. And we sat in court and watched as about 100 young Kenyans were brought into court by the police. Some of them could not walk. Some of them had slings on their hands. They had been beaten by the police at the point of arrest. They had been beaten by the police while in the police vehicles, and they were also beaten in the cells. Many of them came with broken limbs, they came with bruises, and everyone was beaten, men, women, by the police. And when we raised this issue with the court said those who had been hurt needed to go back to the same police station and file a report about who harmed them, and then the OCS of that police station would then prepare a report and bring it to the court. And I remember just seated there, and one of the accused young persons actually addressed the court and said, "Are you asking us to go back to the same people who have harmed us to make a report that they have harmed us?" People should never be afraid of the police. The only person who should be afraid of the police is a criminal, because the police has the power to arrest that criminal and bring him to court. We are now getting into a territory where the people are becoming afraid of the police because the police are doing whatever it is they want to do. There are no consequences whatsoever for their actions. In a proper country, Masengeli would have been interdicted already and not be holding the position he's holding. But he's a guy in charge of the entire police force. He can withdraw a judge's security at whim. He can disobey court orders. That is the man we're talking about here. And the President of the Republic of Kenya, who swore an oath to uphold, to defend the Constitution of Kenya, continues to keep this guy in office. In spite of all these actions and despite everything that he has done. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow patriots, we need to be worried as a country, and we need to demand for better. This is not the Kenya we want. We want a Kenya where everyone is under the law. It's called the rule of law, not the rule of man. Not the rule of might, but the rule of right. Only what is right governs us. So here we are. Bodyguard withdrawn. The acting IG is still in office. Police are still getting into extrajudicial killings, abductions. Have we lost the country? And if we have lost the country, how then do we take it back? These are worrying developments, especially knowing that 2027 is just around the corner. And there are questions we ask, and sometimes we are told we are blowing things out of proportion. But what's to say that this police will actually follow the decisions of the Supreme Court when it comes to that, when it comes to the petition that will clearly be filed? If the people say no to the president, will the police prevent them from exercising their right? What's next? Are we now likely to see that Kenyans will be stopped from voting? Are we now back to those days when people will disappear for months on end and never be found again? Have we become a state where you can be arrested and detained for more than 24 hours, while the Constitution is very clear that you need to be brought before court within 24 hours? Are we a country where the gun rules over the Constitution? Is the gun in our coat of arms? Ladies and gentlemen, even as I ask you about the Supreme Court, you will recall that in the year 2017, a bodyguard of Kenya's Deputy Chief Justice, was shot at and injured a day before the court was to hear the petition. You'll also recall that it is still the same 2017 where the court had overturned the election results that had given the win to one Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. Ladies and gentlemen, I think it's time for us as a country to have a national conversation and to determine what type of country we want, and to come together and condemn in the highest terms possible what is clearly turning out to be an attempt by the police to violate the rights of Kenyans, where might is right, where those with power can do whatever they want and they'll get away with it. That is not the country we want. Because once Kenya moves in that direction, then Kenya burns. There's nothing else. When we move in that direction, then Kenya burns. And we only have this home called Kenya. Ladies and gentlemen, we should not allow this country to collapse. You know, today on my way to the studio, I just looked at how Kenyans are driving on the road, how they're walking on the road, how we have respect even for the traffic lights. And I really wondered, why is it that we are so different from those who govern us? They do what they want. They take what they want. There are no repercussions for them. But if you attempt to jump a red light at the Kenyatta stage here in Nairobi, you're going to find yourself at Kilimani police station or at the traffic headquarters, and you'll be slapped with a fine. The reality is that we are now in what can only be defined as very, very dire straits. Something must be done. The police must be reined in. And as I say this, I recognize I am an advocate of the High Court. I work with a lot of police officers. I recognize that there are many people in the police force who have integrity. There are many who do it for the service. There are many who will give you service and they will not ask you for anything. I know that those people are there. And perhaps it's time for us to say that they need to stop being misrepresented by individuals who are thugs in uniform, who are acting like they can get away with anything they want to get away with. Ladies and gentlemen, we must demand for better. My name is WaNjeri. This has been Sheria Dive right here on Power Radio. We're back here on Saturday between 1 and 3 p.m. Go be a good Kenyan, be a patriotic Kenyan, and please never ever stop demanding for a better country. Because if there's anything we can give the next generation, it's a country that is better than the one that we received. God bless you and have a lovely week.
From sunrise to sunset, all day and night. Power Radio.
Tunapita kama moshi na kabla tuzame mchangani, kuna kushinda na kufeli. Oh, inabidi ujijue tofauti ya mwalimu na mwanafunzi ni ujuzi na ujuaji. Oh, it's unbelievable that we make it this far. Undeniable, we see the promised land from afar. touch the fire. And you know it's not in vain. Steady tripping through the pain. Oh, we're steady rocking on the midnight train. Steady rocking on the midnight train. Oh Lord, steady rocking on the midnight train. Steady rocking on the midnight train. On the midnight train.
Siku zazidi badilika, mengi yazidi kunipita jama. Oh no, maji yalipozidi unga, hawakudhani tutafika. It's unbelievable that we made it this far. Undeniable to see the promised land from afar. So beautiful, they gon' know who we are. They keep on walking in the rain. Kuna blessings in the pain. Whoa. Steady rocking on the midnight train. Steady, ready. Steady rocking on the midnight train. Oh Lord, steady rocking on the midnight train. To Zion. It's on our road to Zion. Nothing will ever deny us. Whatever it takes, keep on rocking. Whatever it takes, keep on moving. To Zion, to Zion, to Zion. Yeah. Steady rocking on the midnight train. Steady rocking on the midnight train. Oh Lord, steady rocking on the midnight train. To Zion, to Zion, to Zion, to Zion. Steady rocking on the midnight train. Steady rocking on the midnight train. Oh Lord, steady rocking on the midnight train. To Zion.